गुड मॉर्निंग 10th क्लास, हाउ आर यू ऑल आर फाइन। ओके बच्चे, तो हमने करा था अपना लेसन अवर एनवायरनमेंट। बेटा अवर एनवायरनमेंट चैप्टर को आज हम डीजी क्लास में देखेंगे। अवर एनवायरनमेंट, उसमें बेटा इकोसिस्टम एंड ओवरव्यू देखते हैं। लेट्स सी इकोसिस्टम। इकोसिस्टम
Everything in the world around us, including us, is a part of a larger structure or a system. Nothing works in isolation. Be it the digestive system, solar system, legal system, or even the school system. Communities of organisms interact within their specific environment. Similarly, if we look at the Earth, we see that the biosphere of the Earth also consists of communities of organisms that interact within their specific environment. Let us understand this. Millions of different plants, animals, and microorganisms live together and interact with each other in their environments. To reduce this complexity and to understand the biosphere better, scientists and ecologists have broken it down into smaller units called ecosystems. Thus, an ecosystem is the grouping of living and non-living components in a habitat that interacts with each other through the flow of energy and material. A temporary or a permanent system, it is a self-sustaining and a functional unit of the living world. The term ecosystem was first used by A.G. Tansley in 1953. There are two main types of ecosystem: natural ecosystem, man-made ecosystem. A natural ecosystem operates by itself under natural conditions without any major interference by man. On the basis of soil, water, heat availability, and the growth of plants. Natural ecosystems are subgrouped as the terrestrial ecosystem and the aquatic ecosystem. The terrestrial ecosystem is the ecosystem on the land masses of islands and continents. It can be classified into the forest ecosystem, the desert ecosystem, the cropland ecosystem, the grassland ecosystem, and the mountainous ecosystem. The aquatic ecosystem, the ecosystem within the water bodies, is classified as standing water or lentic, referring to lakes or ponds, and moving water or lotic, referring to rivers or seas. Man-made or artificial ecosystems are made and maintained by man. They include crops, zoos and wildlife parks, dams, gardens and aquariums. Living things within an ecosystem are known as the biotic components and non-living things as the abiotic components. Biotic components are classified according to their source of food. Producers, the autotrophs, as they prepare their own organic nutrients. Consumers, the heterotrophs, they cannot synthesize their own food and feed on plants and other animals. Consumers may be herbivores, carnivores, or omnivore. Decomposers are heterotrophs that feed on dead and decaying organic matter or detritus. They break down the organic matter by decomposing it into simpler inorganic substances which can be used by plants again. Beetles, earthworm, non-photosynthetic bacteria, and fungi are some of the decomposers. Abiotic components consist of the physical and chemical factors of an ecosystem. Physical factors include air, water, soil, gases such as nitrogen, oxygen or carbon dioxide, minerals such as calcium, potassium, phosphorus, sodium and sulfur. Climatic components include temperature, light, humidity and rainfall. These specific abiotic factors represent the geological, geographical, hydrological and climatological features of a particular ecosystem. Hence, different ecosystems have different biotic and abiotic components. Think about our own habitats. How can you connect things such as air, soil and water to your own lives? Biotic factors and abiotic factors are related and dependent on each other in any ecosystem. Producers, which are among the biotic components of the ecosystem, absorb the abiotic components, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water from the soil, and energy from the sun to prepare food. As consumers eat these producers, there is a transfer of food and energy from the producers to the consumers. The flow of energy and nutrients passes from one group of organisms to another in an ecosystem. When plants and animals die, the decomposers such as bacteria and fungi decompose their complex remains into simpler forms to release carbon dioxide, various soil nutrients and water. The abiotic components are returned to the ecosystem and used again by producers. This continuous interaction preserves and sustains a flourishing ecosystem. Each ecosystem is independent and self-sufficient. The decomposers play the most important role as cleansing agents in the environment. They also help in recycling materials in the biosphere through the biogeochemical cycles. Various elements are put back into the air, soil and water to be reused by the green plants. What will happen if they do not perform the function of decomposing dead things, or what if there were no decomposers?
Decomposers जो सबको खत्म कर देते हैं, छोटी छोटी चीज उसको डिवाइड कर देते हैं, that is known as decomposers.
If the decomposers did not play their part, there would be heaps of dead bodies and garbage all around us. The nutrients in the air, soil and water would be exhausted. Putrefying bacteria and fungi maintain the fertility of the soil as well. Every trophic level is important in maintaining the ecological pyramid. Different trophic levels make up a cycle, which is how we depict the continuous flow of energy in the ecosystem. Man's pursuit of technological and economic progress has led to actions that have created an imbalance between the abiotic and biotic components of the ecosystem. The terrestrial ecosystem is a part of the natural ecosystem.
Terrestrial ecosystem is a part of natural ecosystem. Okay, beta, let's see. Terrestrial ecosystem is a part of a natural system. True.
Lakes are an example of lotic ecosystems.
Lakes are an example of lotic ecosystem.
Lakes are an example of lentic ecosystems.
Lentic ecosystem है. Lakes is a part of a lentic ecosystem.
Decomposers are autotrophs.
Decomposers are autotrophs. Heterotrophs. Not autotrophs. Decomposers are heterotrophs.
Different trophic levels depict the continuous flow of energy in an ecosystem.
Different trophic level depict the continuous flow of energy in an ecosystem.
Different trophic levels depict the continuous flow of energy
Yes.
in an ecosystem.
Ecosystem. Classify of ecosystem, interaction between biotic and abiotic, components of ecosystem, importance of ecosystem. Let's see classifications of ecosystem. An ecosystem, temporary or a permanent, self-sustaining. It is a functional unit of living system. Biotic and abiotic factors are related and dependent to each other. Okay, interaction ये है कि दोनों एक दूसरे पे डिपेंड करते हैं. Components of ecosystem. Component है biotic components, climatic factors, abiotic components. Abiotic, biotic के साथ climate भी component है ecosystem का. Importance of ecosystem. An ecosystem is independent and self-sustaining. Decomposers are the cleaning agent of the ecosystem. Decomposers recycling material is the biosphere through the biological cycle. Purifying bacterials and fungi maintain the fertility of the soil as well. Different trophic levels help to detect the continuous flow of energy in the ecosystem. Ozone layer. Let's see beta. Ozone layer. Ozone layer.
Our sun, the source of life giving heat, light, and energy. But then, why do we need protection from sunlight? Why do we use sunscreens? Because of the components of sunlight that can be injurious to health. For example, overexposure of skin to the ultraviolet or UV rays present in sunlight can cause skin cancer. But did you know that the UV rays that we are exposed to are a very small percentage of the ultraviolet rays in sunlight? Most of the ultraviolet rays in sunlight are absorbed by a layer in our atmosphere, the ozone layer. Let's find out more about this ozone layer and how it protects us from UV rays.
What is ozone?
So what is ozone? What does it look like? Does it smell? Ozone, or O3, is a pale blue gas that is irritating, explosive, and toxic. Like ordinary oxygen gas, O2, it contains oxygen atoms. But unlike oxygen, It contains 3 bonded oxygen atoms. That is, it is triatomic. However, the presence of this gas in the lower atmosphere is insignificant. 90% of our planet's ozone is found in the stratosphere, the region from about 10 kilometers to 50 kilometers, 32,000 to 164,000 feet above Earth's surface.
बेटा ये अर्थ सरफेस से जो लेयर है स्ट्रेटोस्फेयर उसमें 90% प्लैनेट्स ओजोन इज फाउंड हियर, तो इसमें ओजोन यहाँ पे स्ट्रेटोस्फेयर में मिलती है और 10 to 15 किलोमीटर अबव फ्रॉम द लेयर ऑफ अर्थ में ऊपर पाई जाती है ओजोन लेयर। और ऑक्सीजन में O3 एटम्स होते हैं, ऑक्सीजन में जो मॉलिक्यूल्स होते हैं वो O3 होते हैं, लेकिन ओजोन में ऑक्सीजन के 1 मॉलिक्यूल्स और ऐड हो जाता है, 3 एटम्स हो जाते हैं ऑक्सीजन के O3, दैट इज O3 इज ओजोन लेयर।
Ozone concentrations are greatest between about 20 and 40 kilometers above the Earth's surface. This ozone-rich region is also called the ozone layer or ozone cover of the Earth.
ओजोन गुड और बैड?
You may have heard a lot about ozone. What is your impression of this gas? Is it good or bad for us? The answer is, it depends upon the location of the ozone gas. A large concentration of ozone near the ground can harm us. Breathing ozone can trigger a variety of health problems, including chest pain, coughing, throat irritation, and congestion. It can worsen other conditions such as bronchitis and asthma. Thus, ozone at the Earth's surface is bad ozone. However, the ozone in the stratosphere is good ozone, as it protects us from the harmful radiations of the sun.
ओजोन अगर हमारे पास होगी, जितने हमारे करीब होगी, तो हमें नुकसान पहुंचाएगी, सांस की बीमारी, ठीक है, अस्थमा वगैरह ये हो सकते हैं। लेकिन हमारे लेयर अर्थ की जो स्ट्रेटोस्फेयर से ऊपर है तो हमें इससे फायदा होता है, हार्मफुल रेस को हम आने से रोकती है।
This layer absorbs 97 to 99% of the sun's high-frequency ultraviolet light and prevents it from reaching us on the Earth. Thus, even though there are only 3 molecules of ozone for every 10 million air molecules, ozone plays a vital role in the atmosphere. Click on the red tabs to learn more.
ये ओजोन का स्ट्रक्चर देखिए बेटा कैसा होता है। O3 मॉलिक्यूल्स बनकर जब ओजोन के 3 मॉलिक्यूल्स आपस में अटैच होते हैं तो ओजोन O3 बनाते हैं, ट्राई एटॉमिक स्ट्रक्चर कहलाता है ये। ओके बेटा, ओजोन गुड है, bad, a large concentration of ozone near the ground can harm us. अगर लार्ज क्वांटिटी में ओजोन हमारे पास आएगी, पास में है, तो हमें नुकसान पहुंचाती हैं। लेकिन हमारे लिए गुड है कब? जब देखिए हमारे लिए गुड ये किस केस में है? गुड ओजोन। ओजोन इज स्ट्रेटोस्ट्रोफ्स इज गुड ओजोन। स्ट्रेटोस्ट्रोफ्स के पास जो लेयर है वो गुड ओजोन है, क्योंकि ये हमें सन से आने वाली अल्ट्रावायलेट रेज से बचाते हैं। लोकेशन इसकी कहाँ होती है? ग्रेटेस्ट ओजोन कंसंट्रेशन इसकी लोकेशन कहाँ है? फाउंड इन द स्ट्रेटोस्फेयर, स्ट्रेटोस्फेयर में ये लोकेट होती है। और प्रॉपर्टीज, ओजोन इज अ पेल ब्लू गैस, पेल ब्लू गैस है दैट इज इरिटेटिंग, एक्सप्लोसिव एंड टॉक्सिक। ओके बेटा, तो इसी के साथ ही हमारी इस की ओजोन लेयर वाली ये जो आपका था आवर एनवायरनमेंट चैप्टर की डीजी क्लास फिनिश होती है। तो ये चैप्टर हमारा फिनिश हो गया। सो आपने बहुत अच्छे से इसको रीड अप करना है। टेक केयर, बी स्टे एट होम, बाय ऑल ऑफ यू बेटा, बाय, टेक